What it do, E-World, crisscrossing wires, back with another video. We're gonna do an analysis on one of my buddy's latest test videos, and before we do this, I want to congratulate him on a very good high-speed run. He was able to achieve 97 miles per hour, which is great. However, uh, he himself wasn't all the way satisfied with that number because, for one, he was on 96 volts. And while 97 miles per hour would be a great speed run for 72 volts, it's not 100% great for 96 volts. So, we pretty much think the reason why it wasn't as good as it should be is for several reasons that I've always discussed as far as your battery system is concerned and bottlenecks. And none of this is his fault, obviously, because this bike he was doing the test run on is a bike that he purchased from someone else that was already modded and built. It is a great bike. It's a modified TOB, and everybody knows TOB is a great bike by Doc. They are well built, so it's nothing hardware related as far as TOB is concerned. We think the only problem is fundamentally his battery source. Now, before we speak more on that and I explain to you why we think this is, let's go ahead and take a look at his speed run. So give me a second here. Let me pull it up. Alright, this is it, and let's go ahead and check it out. All assy.
Half mile.
His kickstand was down. Okay. Alright. Now, unfortunately, he has the same problem I have where I'm at. I don't have any straight roads. So obviously, if he would have had a straight road, he could have had a better time and, not having to worry about those turns and everything. But, yeah, for what he was working with, also he's on a smaller tire, which is good for acceleration, but kills you a little bit on your top end. Man, 97 miles an hour, we would all be happy with an e-bike or emotorcycle, whatever that's going 97 miles per hour. That's haul assing. Alright, now let's take a look at this one, same test, but this is going to show his BMS, well, his telemetry from his far driver, and shows how many amps and everything he was pulling on his same run. Let's take a look at that. Now hold on. I'm going to stop it right here, because as you can see, right here, he's pulling close to 500 amps. But notice his voltage right there, 85.9 volts. Now remember, we said this is a 96 volt system. So fully charged on 96 volt is somewhere around 109 volts. Alright, now he wasn't fully charged, so I think he was up around 106, 105 volts. But still, to be sagging back to 85 volts. That's like a 20-volt sag, okay? Now, the pack that's on this bike is, I believe he said, a 24S 14P. So 14P, I mean, P42s, let's just say minimum, if they're putting out 50 amps, 14 of those should easily be able to put out 700 amps, uh, you know, provided the bus bars and gauge of wire and connectors are all up to the task. Now, that's another issue. He says on this pack, it only has one QS10, okay? So that's one bottleneck, all right? So a QS10 is good for 400 amps with minimum sag, all right? So, at 500 amps, he's already above the 400 amp limit. That's going to cause voltage sag, all right? That could be the only reason, okay? However, bottlenecks all add up. Now, it could be also an issue with the bus bars on this pack. I have no idea as to how this pack was constructed. Most likely, it could be prefab. And if it's prefab, uh, I spoke about the difference in prefab bus bars and why they can't handle as much current. And it also could be, because of that one QS10, that's also going to limit you as far as your wire gauge. That means one set of leads. That means whatever gauge of wire, 8 gauge, 4 gauge, 1 gauge, 0 gauge, whatever is on that one wire is also going to be a bottleneck. So you can see, this is what I was talking about in another video, how voltage sag can hurt your overall performance. Now, this is 500 amps at 85 volts. That would be superb if that was a 72 volt pack, right? Because a 72 volt pack fully charged is 88 volts. And if that pack was constructed correctly and had enough cells in it, 16P, 20P, enough cells to make 500 amps efficiently with minimum sag, with the correct bus bars and power wire and everything, that would only be 3 volts worth of sag from a fully charged 72 volt pack. 88 dropping back to 85 volts. But for a 96 volt pack, that is quite a loss in voltage. So believe you me, if he would have had 500 amps at, let's even say 100 volts. If he sagged all the way back to 100 volts, 500 volts at 100 amps, he would have got a much higher speed. And even the power output of his controller, let's do the math on that. 500 amps times, let's say 100 volts, would have been 50 kilowatt, as opposed to the 42.8 kilowatt, as you can see up there, right there. He had a 42.8 kilowatt. So, with that voltage sag, you lose your maximum output power. You also lose RPMs. Not to mention, he was on a smaller tire. Now, I guarantee you, even with all this voltage sag, had he been on a larger tire, like a 17 or a 19-inch tire, even at these RPMs, 1300 RPM, he still would have been over 100 miles an hour. But because he was on a smaller tire, 1300 RPM, 97 miles per hour. Now, if you do that on the flip side of that, with a smaller well, anyway, we ain't got to go into all that. But as you can see, not only do these this telemetry validate what I'm saying, but also proves that, yes, on 72 volts, you can definitely hit 100 miles an hour, all right? Because, like I said, if you're able to maintain 85 volts at 500 amps on a 19 larger tire, it would have been over 100 miles an hour on 72 volts. But again, at 96, a little, it's a little disappointing for him on 96 volts. Now, if he had his battery and everything else was up to the task, man, he might have hit 105, 110 on a straightaway from 96 volts. 96 volts should definitely get you well up over 100 miles an hour. 110, 115 maybe. You know, if everything is right, all the circumstances, and you're in the right location on the straight. But anyway, we wanted to take a look at that, and he fully gave me permission to analyze this and speak on the voltage sag, because he definitely was not happy with the amount of sag he was getting. And I'm not sure what kind of pack is in this bike. Maybe he'll comment and let us know. But once again, despite all that, good goddamn run, awesome speed, man, sweet. But he definitely can do much better. All right, y'all. So that's all I wanted to say on this, and I will holler back at you for sure. Peace.